All right, yo, what's up? It is none other than your boy, JGiddins, the father. As usual, I want to remind you guys to be positive, optimistic, and keep positive people in your circle, baby. Um, so, the topic of today's video, if you didn't notice from the title, is going to be whether or not you should tell your kids to hit. What's up, Fathers Lives Matter? Let me know if you hear something from Chris, please, okay? ASAP. Um, but the topic of today's live, if you guys haven't known, I'm broadcasting on both Instagram as well as Merry Christmas to you as well, boss, as well as on YouTube Live. But the topic of today's conversation, if you will, is going to be whether or not it is the right thing to do to tell your child to put their hands on somebody if they have if somebody puts their hands on them, right? So to basically I just wanted to have an open discussion about the idea of telling your child, hey, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. Somebody puts their hands on you, you automatically put your hands on them, right? I want to get some light real quick. Bear with me for about 30 seconds, guys, because I don't like the lighting that I have on Instagram. It's horrible. YouTube is okay, but hold on. All right, guys, I'm back. All right, so what I did was I went and stole the light from my daughters. Right, my daughters have a light in their room. It's like a nice little light that you can use for like videos and such if you need. All right, guys. So, and I still don't think that the lighting has gotten that much better on Instagram. It's still pretty bad on Instagram. Looks okay on YouTube. For those just joining on YouTube, what's up? I don't know who you are, but if you're joining, again, the purpose of today's video is to have a discussion about whether or not it's the best thing or it's appropriate or if it's proper parenting to tell your child if somebody puts their hands on you, you put your hands on them, right? So I want to give my opinion on that because I saw a post a little bit earlier today on somebody's Facebook where they was talking about it, and I wanted to share my opinion. So let me start off by saying, my personal, my personal perspective on it is that it is not appropriate to, or it is not good, good parenting or proper parenting to say, Stormy, come here, baby. It is not proper parenting to say to your child, if somebody hits you, you hit them back, period. And that's it, right? I mean, to say that to your child, to be completely honest with you, in my opinion, so we can argue about this, right? We don't have to argue about anything. We can have a conversation and or discussion about it, whatever you want to call it, right? But I strongly disagree with it. I think it's bad parenting, to be completely honest with you. Now, let me say this. I think that it is, I think that it's bad parenting if you tell your child, if somebody puts their hands on you, you hit them back and that's it. If you leave it as that, I think that's improper parenting. Reason being is that children are not equipped to handle the types of, discrepancies and issues that they're going to have when it comes to fighting. There's a lot of things that we know openly, we all say to each other, is inappropriate, and we just know. And one of those things is sex, right? Let's use sex. We all know sex is inappropriate for children, right? The primary reason that it's inappropriate for children is because it leads to things that they are unprepared for, right? I mean, as a child, you're not prepared to, wake up and then feel feelings of love for this 8-year-old boy, you know what I mean? Or 8-year-old girl, and, have to make life decisions. Sometimes when you fall in love with somebody or you have sex with somebody and y'all have that type of, intimate relationship with each other, it changes the way you live your life. You know what I mean? You might skip work. You know what I mean? You might skip school. You might lie to people. You might do a bunch of things for this person because you love them. So a child should not be, dealing with sexual things and encounters and sexual natures because they are unprepared to deal with the types of things they're going to face because of them being involved in it. Now, same thing I would say when it comes to fighting, right? When it comes to fighting is going to lead to, things that children just are not prepared to deal with. Not all the time. And that's why I say, if you just say to them, if somebody hit you, you hit them back, period. If you say that, to me, like I said, that's irresponsible. What you should be doing is explaining to your child that this should be handled on a case-by-case scenario. You should never be saying, somebody touch you, you just hit them, right? What if there's a scenario where it's not justified to hit them back? What if there's a scenario where there may have been cause for them to hit this person? What if there's a scenario where they could hit this person back and kill this person? You know what I mean? They're ill prepared to deal with those types of consequences. You know what I mean? They don't know how to make those decisions. If you tell a child, oh, you got the right to hit somebody as soon as they touch you, a child is going to take that and run with it. A child, if it's somebody in their class they don't like, and that person walks past them and just touch them a little bit, they're going to be like, oh, my mother said I can hit you, and just beat them up. Well, my father said hit you, and just beat them up. And then what you going to do? You're going to go up to school and act stupid in front of everybody. Why are you hitting people? You up here fighting, when the whole time they just doing what you told them to do, right? So what I'm saying is, you have to understand that you got to be careful when it comes to that. Don't just tell your child. This is my opinion, by the way. So I'm not saying you guys got to do this, but my opinion is that you shouldn't just tell your child, if somebody hits you, hit them back. What you should do, again, is explain to them case-by-case scenarios. It advise them that they should be seeking assistance from their surrounding, right? So if your child is in a cafeteria, right, and there is a vice principal walking around, there's a teacher's aide walking around, and there's the cafeteria lady, there's a bunch of people, and somebody sitting at the table, hit your child, right? If your child's first instinct is, I'm gonna hit him back, then your child's probably gonna be fighting a lot. Like a lot, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things that a child's mind can use to justify hitting somebody. You know what I mean? Like, children are ill prepared. And that's what I mean. You're putting too much on a child to say to them, fight somebody if they touch you. You know what I mean? Now, you should explain to them that if they're in a situation where, say, there's nobody else around, there's no adults around, it's just them, they're in the bathroom by themselves, being backed into a corner, and somebody's pushing them and hitting them. Yeah, you better fight back. Right. And the reason that you're fighting back is not because mommy said so, not because daddy said so, not because, you're fighting back because it is the best decision to make. That it is the only way to decrease the chances of something negative happening to you. And if we are all parents that care about our children's well-being, and our goal is to make sure that our children are safe and they have the best life that they can, why would you want your child fighting? That's what I don't understand. Your pride, like, so that you can say, oh yeah, my child not no punk. Yeah, but what if your child, gets knocked out, or, they push them, they trip and fall over something, hit their head on the concrete, so now their head is cracked open, or they have some sort of a long-term affecting damage because of the fight. Like, all those kind of things, you have to think about that. Is all of that worth it just because you don't want to, I ain't no punk, you hit him? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's stupid. It's the same. You just have to sort of override that Neanderthal, aggressive, angry animal instinct that we have with logic and mind in your brain. You know what I mean? That's why lions don't run this planet, because we have a brain. If it wasn't for our brain, we would not be at the top of the food chain. So why people don't want to use it, I don't know. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I always advocate for teaching your children to use the strongest muscle they have, which is the bicep. No, I'm joking. The strongest muscle they have, which is their brain. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you teach them to think adequately, teach them to do, risk versus reward assessing. If you're aware of what that means, risk versus reward assessment, essentially balancing out what the benefits, are versus the negatives, that will help them make a better decision on whether they should fight. But I really think that it's irresponsible, neglectful, and just bad parenting to tell your child, if somebody hits you, hit them back. And just leave it at that. Like, that's all you tell them. And then you tell them, okay, go ahead. You send them off into the world with all of these people in the world who are, maybe crazy, insane, doing all these things. And all you say to them is, if somebody hits you, you hit them. Okay. That's it. You just leave them with that. Like, I mean, it's so irresponsible and it's so dumbed down. We just have to think a little bit more than that. We have to think a little bit more highly of our children. You have to value them more. You definitely don't want your child fighting, man. People can die. It's easy to die in a fight. As much as people don't understand that. I mean, you could be fighting somebody and trip over a curb and fall and hit your head and, sustain something a damage that makes you bleed out. Or you could not make it to the hospital in time, or you could just have some sort of a traumatizing effect, whether it be physical, mental, whatever it may be, psychological. This is what causes, these kids to grow up and be these shitty adults that we see, right? These adults that you see when you look at them and you're like, you are a piece of shit. Like these adults that they don't have any kind of emotion. They don't care. They fuck you. I don't care. Shit. They got this dumbass attitude that comes from being a child. And nobody giving a shit about you, nobody caring, you being beat up on and taken advantage of your whole life as a child. As soon as you become an adult, guess what? It's payback time, right? So when you become an adult, now you carry stuff like, shit, you're aggressive with people, you mean to people, you want to, do whatever you can to take advantage of somebody. If you see somebody drop $1, it's your dollar. You don't care. Like, that's how you get that kind of mindset. That's how you become an unproductive member of society, which is what I like to call them, right? So again, if you are one of those parents who is telling your child, oh, if somebody put their hands on you, you better hit them back. My best suggestion to you is think about what you're saying. You know what I mean? Think about what you really want, right? Because if you really think about it, do you really want your child to just hit somebody who hits them? Or do you want your child to be safe? You know what I mean? Or do you want your child to be respected? Right? You have to think about what your end goal is, what you really want. And what it seems like most of these parents who just say those blanket statements, oh, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. It seems like what they want is they want their child to be respected. They want their child to not be a victim. That's what they want, right? And all those things are adequate. All those things are good for you to want for your child, but you have to think about how you're going about making that happen. Telling your child to just put their hands on somebody if they put their hands on them is not going to increase that child's safety. It's not going to increase the chances of, it's not going to decrease the chances of something negative happening to your child. That's the same way I feel about, I'm not going to get into it. I was going to bring up the whole police altercation situation, because there's a lot of people, I will bring it up because it's similar metaphorically. There's a lot of people when it comes to, especially my Black brothers and sisters, as you know, we struggle greatly when it comes to the police. There's a lot of people that I heard say stuff like, oh, if the cops try to lock you up, you better not let them, don't let them lock you up. They better, fight them. They tell you, oh, what's up, Jeff? They tell you, just fight the police. Don't let them do this and that. And the thing is, like, I just feel like we got to think through the things that we're trying to do. You know what I mean? Use this, you know what I mean? Not this. This anybody can do. Like animals can do that. Like anybody can fight. When you fight, it's because you're weak. Like, you know what I mean? Normally when you fight, it means you lost all control and you just want to hurt something because you have no more control. So normally you want to fight when something gets out of your control. So try to improve your ability to stay on top of things. If a police officer is doing something to you that, that is, they're trying to take advantage of a situation, or we've been seeing a lot of these Karens, a lot of these situations where you have racial biases taking place. In those situations, I would never tell somebody, oh, I would hit them if they call me a nigger, I would hit them. It's like, why would you just hit them? Like, you have to think about what the goal is. The goal is to not be called a nigger, right? The goal is for them to know that they better not call you a nigger. The goal is for them to respect you enough to know better than to call you a nigger. Now, one way to go about that, you think, is to fight them, to hit them. The other way to go about that, because ultimately what you want to do is create a reason for them not to want to do this to you. The real way to do that is really just going to be to just make them think twice about what they're doing, and punching them will do that. So I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't hit them. I mean, I do get that. But you should think about the alternatives, because one of the ways you go home, remember on Training Day, I don't know if y'all saw the movie Training Day. On Training Day, you say you want to go to jail or you want to go home, right? You want to go to jail or you want to go home. So at the end of the day, if a police officer is doing this, or if somebody's trying to fight you or whatever it is, do whatever you have to do to get the outcome that you want to get, right? The outcome that you want to get is for them to no longer be fighting you, no longer want to fight you, and respect you enough not to fight you. Fighting them is very seldom going to achieve that result, right? Normally, if somebody puts their hands on you and you just hit them back immediately, chances are they're going to put their hands on you every time they see you. It depends on the person. If they're a chump, then maybe not. It depends. And this is also what I mean when I say have this conversation with your child. Explain this to your child so that they can make the best decision for them based on the situation, because you shouldn't just hit everybody who hits you back. You have to pick your battles. And if you're telling your child, anybody who puts their hands on you, you hit them, you are sending your child into a field full of landmines with like a piece of paper with a path on it. Like, you know what I mean? Because if they deviate, if something goes wrong, that could be the end of your child. That could be, the reason that they're psychologically messed up in the head. That could be the reason why they don't like you, the reason why they want to fight you, the reason why they feel like you sent them into a war zone, the reason why they don't respect you as a parent. Like, there's a lot of things that happens that are similar to what we're talking about right now that lead to the ultimate goal or the ultimate end. They lead to the ultimate end road of your child not liking you or having some sort of dissatisfaction with you. And a lot of times you wonder, my child don't listen. Why my kid don't listen? I hear that a lot. My kid is disobedient. My kid don't do this. My kid don't do that. Let me tell you, listen, I got 4 children, right? I guess I'm not going to count my youngest 2 because they're only 1 and 2, but my older 2, which are 11 and 7, right? My older 2 children listen to me intently. Okay. They listen to me intently. I have never in my life, and these are children who I cut the umbilical cord of and brought home and raised. Okay. Signed up for school, took to the doctors, everything, sit with them on a daily basis, go over recreational things with them. So I'm not a weekend holiday dad. I'm a dad. So, but anyways, these children 100% respect what I say. And I have never in my life said, I'm so sick and tired of these kids, I can't wait till they leave. Like I've never said that before in my life. Like, I was a single dad for a while, and I've never said, oh man, these kids, I can't wait till they leave. I wish somebody come get these kids. I don't even understand that mindset. What do you mean you wish somebody come get your kids? I don't know. But I think it comes from not having control over your children. It comes from your children not respecting you at the end of the day, because my children listen. They're going to listen. And it's not because, and I've never put my hands, that's a lie. I may have beat my oldest daughter maybe like 2 or 3 times, and my youngest daughter maybe once. But I don't put my hands on my children, because let me tell y'all something real quick. Listen to me very carefully, whoever's seeing this, right? Putting your hands on your children is the fastest way to lose them. It is the fastest way. So many parents think that I'm going to beat my child, I'm going to hit my child, and they're going to listen to me. Putting your hands on your child is the fastest way to lose them. They will be 16, stealing money out of your purse, stealing your car keys, spending the night over friends' houses, ignoring you, and you'll be sitting there like, why won't my kids listen to me? My kids are so bad. These out of control teens are so out of control. No, you didn't properly parent. And the sad thing about it is, majority of parents are women, because fathers are second-class citizens, unfortunately, perspective-wise. They're not really, but most parents are mothers, right? And, moms often end up in a situation where they're talking about how bad their kid is, or their kid's doing this and doing that. And I think they just lose sight of the fact that, well, 1, a father's needed, but 2, you can't be your child's friend and their parent. People, that's a line that you have to toe. You have to tread very carefully, right? Because once you start stepping into that lane of friend, they're going to treat you like they treat a friend. And do you think when their friend tells them you can't do this, that they got to do something? When their friend tells them that they have to do this, they're immediately going to ignore the friend or try to get confrontational with the friend. So obviously they're going to treat you the same way. What I really think you should do is just try try to touch base with what their ideology is. You know what I'm saying? That is really what's going to be the best thing to cause you and your child to get on an equal playing field, because you don't want to get in a position where you said don't say beat. Yeah. You don't want to get in a position where your child is a little bit older and they're not listening to you. You know what I mean? When they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're not listening to you, you have to say the same thing twice or whatever. Okay. But when they get 14, 15, 16, 17, especially these kids nowadays that are like 6 feet tall at 10 years old, right? When they get that age, you're done. You lost. You lost. I mean, you know what I mean? So you have to understand this at a young age, and you have to get your children's respect for you established at an early age. That's why it sucks that so many fathers are kept from their kids, you know, during the early stages of the child's birth, because those are the most important ones. I mean, like literally, man, like my son, he'll be 1 December 29th, right? Tuesday. So my son, my son's mother can say to him, Gerald, stop. Gerald, stop. Gerald, put that down. Gerald, stop. And I'll go, Gerald. And he'll go and stop. Right? That's not like magic or by some like, you know what I mean? Some weird reason. That's because that is the hierarchy, you know, of our species, of us as human beings. That's how we work. The male provides that dominance, and you need the woman to provide that love. Now, I'm not saying that a woman can't be dominant and a man can't be loving, but what I'm saying is those innate abilities are within us and within us all when we're born as children to accept, right? So he naturally accepts that I am the dominant figure. He naturally sees my figure as dominant, me as dominant, my voice, everything about me is dominant. So he respects that. There's also situations where, say, my son will be crying, upset, throwing a temper tantrum, and he's mad at his mom. So he'll come to me and then he'll calm down. Or he could be mad at me, throwing a temper tantrum, and he goes to his mom and then he calms down, right? It's a balance. That's why you need both parents. That's why I'm so sick of hearing these stupid women saying, I don't need my kids don't need no father. I'm a father myself. I don't need no father. It's like, I would bet any amount of money that the women who are saying that don't have fathers. Because if they do have fathers, saying that alone is kind of insulting to your father. You know what I mean? Like, but anyway, look, guys, I got very sidetracked on this video because it's been so long since I did a live. I missed you guys. Like, I really just wanted to come and just talk and just be here a little bit more. I think I want to do another live just so I can kind of touch base with just YouTube and just kind of explain to you guys what's been going on with me, what my goals are short term, and, you know, what can be expected. All right. So I think I'm going to end this and start another live and just title that one a little bit differently. All right. So we can have that conversation. To everybody who's watching this on Instagram, YouTube, please remember to be positive, optimistic, and keep positive people in your circle. Okay. I say that every time. Be positive, optimistic, keep positive people in your circle. And I don't say it just like because it sounds good, because there's a lot of P's, right? I say it because keeping positive people in your circle alters your mind. It changes what you do. You know, I just started working out, and now I surround myself with athleticism. I look at people who are bigger than me. I look at people with big muscles all day. So you know what my brain is thinking all day? I want big muscles. You know what I mean? Surround yourself with positivity and you will become that. Just the same way evil begets evil, positivity begets positivity. You know what I mean? Negativity begets negativity. You know, you just have to keep that in mind. All right. I love every one of y'all who are watching this. I hope y'all have a good day. Until later, y'all take it easy, man. JGiddins out.